I hope everybody's doing good. Today's book reading is by Stephen Covey and Rebecca Merrill, and the title is The Speed of Trust. Trust is the most underestimated factor that can create or destroy everything within a few seconds. Trust affects everything in our lives 365 days a year, from our work to our personal relationships. At the age of 7, Stephen Covey was asked to take care of the yard at home. His father had a name for the job: green and clean. It involved keeping the lawn green by watering it with a hose, bucket, or other means, and clean by removing sticks, paper, and other debris. Stephen's father called it stewardship, a job with trust. While Stephen Covey's father might offer help from time to time, the job was solely his responsibility. 4 days later, the grass was yellow and dying fast. At the time for accounting, Stephen Covey broke down into tears when he realized the yard wasn't green or clean. From that day on, he did his job well and maintained the yard. Though he was so young back then, he remembered feeling super motivated Though he was so young back then, he remembered feeling super motivated because of his father's trust in him. This event instilled a sense of responsibility and integrity in him till today. Various kinds of relationships are built and sustained by trust, but they can also be damaged by lack of trust. With every single violation of trust, we recover slowly because we are worried about everything else out there. Suspicions about other people arise, and we start to use the behavior of the few to judge many others. If you have been treated in a bad way concerning trust before, you know it. It is very hard to trust just anyone. And sometimes, unfortunately, even the people who will do you good and they are really worthy of this trust, you cannot even trust them. Why? Because you are scared it might happen to you again. If trust is removed, deepest relationships and connections will fall apart. The impact doesn't just stay in our present moments, it also creeps into our future moments. That's the scary part. It doesn't stay in the present. The impact doesn't just stay in our present moments, and this is the scary part. It also creeps into our future moments, both professionally and personally. So we need to get better at creating, extending, and restoring trust. Does it sound complicated? That might be because you think that trust is a character for a special few, but it isn't. Trust is an actionable, tangible asset that you can easily create. According to Stephen Covey, trust happens in 5 successive waves. Write them down. Remember them. 5 successive waves. The first wave, self-trust. The second wave, relationship trust. Third wave, organizational trust. Fourth wave, market trust. And finally, the fifth wave, societal trust. Societal trust. I'm sorry. By nature, trust is highly interdependent and it flows from the inside out like a ripple of waves. Like a ripple of waves. If you manage to build self-trust, then you would have laid the foundation to establish societal trust. Continue through the next chapters to know more about the full impact of trust and learn how you can establish trust and at each of these 5 levels. So the first wave of trust depends on our self-confidence, our ability to set and accomplish goals. The first wave is also known as self-trust. Believability or credibility is the foundational principle for this wave. Can people trust you? How credible are you? To build our credibility, we need to understand 4 cores or key elements related to character and competence. And these 4 elements are intent, capabilities, integrity, and results. Then we can work on those cores to improve our personal credibility. Research has shown that most people do not keep the commitments and promises they make to themselves. For instance, a 2005 Harris poll found that only 8% of Americans stick to their New Year resolutions, even though 50% make those resolutions. How many times you heard someone saying, my New Year's resolution is to go to gym and be fit and healthier? They go to gym the first week, maybe second week. Always, when I go to gym around that time, you see the gym full of new faces. It's like, what happened? Then I remember, okay, never mind. It's New Year's resolution. They're not gonna last a month, and they don't. This is really scary. Only 8% of Americans stick to their New Year resolutions, and 50% of them make those resolutions. After repeated failure to create and keep promises to ourselves, it starts to degrade our self-confidence. This makes us lost trust in our ability to create and keep promises. Then we can project the personal strength of character that is necessary to build trust. We can't fully trust ourselves. We find it hard if you cannot fully trust yourself, you're gonna find it hard to trust others. In certain organizations, some employees don't trust their managers. Not because the managers committed grave offenses, but because they do little dishonest things daily. This gradually weakens and corrodes credibility. To use the metaphor of tree to better understand the four cores of credibility. Integrity is the root below the surface that allows everything to grow. Intent is the trunk that grows out in the open. Capabilities are the branches that allow us to produce. Results are the fruits, which are measurable, tangible, and visible outcomes that people can see and evaluate. And out of their fruits, you will know them. If they're really trusty people, they will be fruitful. And their fruit will be good. One that you can enjoy, eat, pleasant to look at. Once you start making and keeping commitments to yourself, remember to be open and stand for something, as these will help you to increase your credibility and self-confidence. The higher your credibility, the higher the trust you will inspire, then you will be able to reduce the cost and speed of doing important things in your life. The second wave is how to create and increase the trust in our relationships with others. Let's talk about the second wave, which is the relationships or the relationship trust. This is the second level or wave of trust. And it's all about learning ways to increase trust and how to avoid destroying it. Hence, there are certain powerful behaviors common to high trust or highly trustworthy leaders and people worldwide. Some of them are listed below. Behavior: talk straight. Business tycoon Warren Buffett is renowned for saying it as it is. He usually writes a management letter for his company's annual report with no fluff. He doesn't even mind adding the mistakes that he made during the year. I love that. The main reason why trust is low in most organizations is because the leaders don't communicate honestly. They talk with spin. If only they knew that clear communication means less meetings and higher productivity. The second behavior is show respect. Treat everyone with respect, especially those who have nothing to offer you. Never miss the opportunity to show concern and care for people. There are no little things, because everything has an impact on trust. Behavior number 3, be transparent. You need to create transparency and be genuine in a way that people can verify. In the present global economy, transparency is fast becoming popular as the critical value in organizations with high levels of trust. Behavior number 4, right wrongs. When you're wrong, don't hesitate to make things right as soon as possible. Be humble, take responsibility, and don't make a habit of blaming others for your mistakes. If you want to retain those who are present, be loyal to those who are absent, because the key to the many is the one. Behavior number 5: show loyalty. When you are loyal, people will see you as trustworthy. You can show loyalty by giving credit to others to thank them for their input in getting the results. You can also speak about others as if they were present. Gossiping about people causes those present to be wary of you. They think you will do the same to them when their backs are turned. Once you start to extend trust to people, you are empowering them to trust you too. Then you will be able to create a high trust culture that makes everyone do their best all the time. The third wave is how leaders can build trust in various types of organizations, families, teams, or businesses. The third level of trust comes in the form of organizational trust. In the corporate world, the biggest aha moments often happen when people realize that there is low trust in their organization because the principles were violated by both individuals and the organization. There is a big difference in the leader-follower relationship of a company with a low level of mutual trust, what we call a low trust environment, and a company with a high level of mutual trust, which we call a high trust environment. In a low trust environment, leaders often blame the people without having a clear understanding of their own responsibility to implement and maintain systems that build a high trust environment. Since trust is the hidden variable that impacts everything, most leaders don't look for it in organizations. Instead, they focus on the symptoms. You can be an amazing leader that people trust because you have great relationship trust and self-trust levels, but you might fail at organizational trust because you aren't making and aligning structures and systems that will build trust. Let's look at an example of symbols that build trust. A few years after starting Hewlett Packard co-founder Bill Hewlett stopped at the storeroom to take a tool one weekend. He was disgusted to find it locked, as it was customary to the company's practices to keep the bins open. So he broke the lock and placed a sign there saying, HP trusts its employees. Since then, the open bins had become a symbol of trust that inspired creativity and loyalty. I love that. Even if you are not the main leader in the company where you work, you can still influence by involving everyone in the process of improving the mission or value statement of the company. This statement needs to align with principles and motives that build trust. That's the only way to avoid the nasty downward cycle. Did you know in 2005, a Harris poll was done in the United States and it revealed that out of the people surveyed, only 12% trust big companies, 27% trust the government, and 8% trust political parties, and only 22% trust the media. The fourth wave is how everyone can understand the impact of trust and relate with a brand. The next wave is called the market trust. When you see or get in touch with some companies, how do you feel about them? Perhaps you have heard great things about their products, services, or leadership. So you are likely to buy from them or recommend them to your family and friends. The reverse will be the case if you or your clique have had a terrible experience with a company. This is no way you will be happy to spend your money on a company that has wronged you. I'm gonna give you a little example. You've all heard of Lionel Messi, the soccer player. He started like a couple years ago a clothing line, Messi. If you remember, see me wearing the red shirt with the black, the kind of, what do you call it? Plated or whatever. I bought it from the website. Nice shirt. It was only 30 bucks, whatever. They had a good deal. But there is one time I bought a nice jacket that I spent $90 on it. $90. Red and black. Not even less than a month. Right at the wrist area, all the way at the bottom. Right at the bottom of the sleeve, literally start falling off. I was not happy. I was not happy because I already bought like the button-up shirt. I bought like a short sleeve shirt, you know. Uh, I send them a message. And I used to post my stuff on Instagram and I tag them, and sometimes they will tag me on their page, which they have more than 1 million followers. So they will tag me on their page, like show my picture wearing their stuff, you know, and put it in their story. And they will send me like DM with fire emoji or whatever, you know, like they are appreciating all the thing. So I send them like, tell them what happened. Like they did not reply. You could see that they saw my message. It says seen. So what I did is I blocked them. I don't trust this company. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was only happened with me. It could be like sometimes, you know. But the way they dealt with it, I cannot trust them. I blocked them. I deleted the app from my phone, and I'm not gonna buy from them. I could have made a big deal of it and do a video about them and talk, but I won't do this. But if anybody asks me about my experience with them, I will say it. Market trust is all about reputation or brand. It's about how you feel about buying from a business or spending your time there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing it right now on YouTube Live. So yes, if we're talking like Messi brand, I'm sorry, he's my favorite soccer player still. I think he's a good guy, whatever, but maybe clothing line is not for him. Maybe because he's not like involved in it, they're just like using the name, putting his picture. Sometimes they use him as like he models some of the stuff. I guess it's him and his sister is like responsible for this company, but it's not for him. It also affects how you recommend them to others. There you go. Most companies spend a lot of money to create a brand that inspires trust. It doesn't matter whether the company sells products or services. Branding is important for all organizational entities because the image of an organization has a great influence on its reputation. It's not about Cristiano Ronaldo is better, whatever. I never tried it, so I cannot say anything. I'm not sure if he has like any clothing line. He probably does. But because of the personality of Cristiano Ronaldo, that he's not humble, I don't like that. And I'm not gonna encourage someone who treat his fans in a very wrong way, because if it wasn't for the fans, he will not be there. No matter what, even if you're angry, even if you're having a bad day, you have to put it on the side. Like when I see a video of Cristiano Ronaldo walking out of a game that he lost and he was not happy for some reason, and the guy, the reporter, is asking him a question, he took the microphone and throw it. That's not a behavior of a person who respect. When I see a guy coming throwing themselves I know they could be like, fans could be sometimes like annoying, trying to have like a signature or like to grab him, hold him, and he pushed them away. He pushed a kid one time. He literally pushed a kid one time. When you look at Messi, you see the humble in him, you know? Like when somebody ran to the field and tried to hug him and the security come tried to stop them, he said stop. He took a picture with him. Then you can take him. When he stops for half an hour sometimes just to sign autograph, Messi is humble. And this is why I like him as a person. This is bad behavior for you to treat your fans. These are the people who made you like that. Like that. When I see Cristiano Ronaldo, maybe I should not say this, God forgive me. Do you know what the meaning of charisma? Normally I don't engage in the chat, but today I feel like doing it. When you say Messi doesn't have charisma, what do you mean by that? When a reporter is talking to Cristiano Ronaldo and ask him this question, listen, who is the best player in the world? You know what he said? I don't really care what people say. I think I'm the best. And if you look at the interview, the way that Cristiano Ronaldo was sitting, body language speaks a lot. He was sitting like this on one of his chair, sitting like this. I don't really care what people say, you know, but I think I'm the best in the world. When you look at Messi in an interview, he sits in a flip-flop in his house, very timid, sitting like this, and he's like, I cannot take all the credits, because if it wasn't for my teammates, I'm not here. You know? Not to mention, it just like turned to like a soccer conversation. Not to mention, Messi has 7 Ballon d'Or. Cristiano has 5, and that's it for him. How you gonna say you're the best in the world when Messi was a God-given talent? Messi was born with it. What I really admire Cristiano for is he's a hard worker. He practices and practices. If he wants to work on his speed, he will work on his speed. When Messi, he just like wake up and like give him a ball and he start playing. And to me, a God-given talent, and just the fact that since he started playing, every time you see Messi after he scored, all the time after his celebration, he starts with one thing. And his dedication is for his grandmother that passed. Because she is the one who encouraged him to go play soccer. Although he was very small in stature, she would bring him and take him to the like and watch his game. And he always wanted her to see that what he did and how, because he knows she's gonna be proud and she's gonna be looking from heaven at him every time he scores. Every time, watch him, he goes like this. Then he do his celebration. When Cristiano Ronaldo wins, he scored a goal, he goes like this. he raise his shirt, show his abs, or those stuff like this, like all like ego, 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 the pride. God loves simple. If you want to talk about a complete player, excuse me, Messi is the complete player. For you can put him in the middle, on the wing, in the front. Ronaldo stay in the front, they give him the ball, he scores. That's it. On the micro level, every single human being has his or her own reputation or brand, which affects trust, cost, and speed. This is pretty glaring in your resume and comments from your references when you are applying for a job or school. It also determines whether people will give you a benefit of doubt in tough situations. So how can you build your brand? You need to track the value of your organization's brand while strengthening the 4 cores and the 13 behaviors needed for a high trust environment. Excuse me. The 5th wave is giving back to others and showing society that you care about it. Give back to others. هلا بآدم والله نور البث يا باشا. وحشتني يا عم. We call it the societal trust. Societal trust is the 5th and final level of trust. In late April 1992, the trial of Rodney King led to riots and city blocks were set on fire and looted in Los Angeles, California. Businesses lost billions. However, not a single McDonald's restaurant in the area was touched. Excuse me, I just got a hiccup. The local residents knew McDonald's cared about the community and they didn't want to destroy something that took care of them. Wow. The sense of social responsibility by McDonald's created societal trust that had clear, measurable, and observable results. Trust is an integral part of our society. Yet, we take it for granted until it gets destroyed or polluted. Then, we begin to realize that trust is key to our existence like water is to a fish. It is impossible to think of a word with the absence of trust. An open global economy can only thrive on behaviors like practicing accountability, creating transparency, keeping commitments, extending trust, excuse me, talking straight and righting wrongs. I thought I got rid of it for a second. A high trust society creates more opportunities and options for everyone. We will be able to interact with less friction, and this results in higher speed and lower costs of getting things done. Oh Lord. Lord, if it's in your will, please get rid of this hiccup. Not that it bothers me, not at all. But if it's in your will, please get rid of this hiccup, just so I can finish this chapter in the name of Jesus. And if not, then I will deal with it. Trust the Lord. Trust the Lord. Contribution is the main principle of societal trust. It is the aim to create value instead of damaging it. In June 2006, Bill Gates shifted his focus from Microsoft to the work of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I believe Melinda is his wife or sister. I think it's his wife. The aim of the foundation was to improve the education, welfare and education of poor and less fortunate people worldwide. Though many high-profile people are known for giving back to society, there are still a lot of individuals that give immensely to others. When we take a closer look, we start to see that the fifth wave is as a result of our trustworthiness that started from the first wave, which is our own trust, self-trust. In case you forget, what's the first wave? The self-trust. Then it flows into our organizations, our relationships, and our marketplace to impact the entire society. Together, we can build families and organizations that positively impact the well-being of the world. What is our conclusion from this book? Excuse me. Ya Rab. Trust affects everything we do in life. It impacts our work, relationships, communication, and business ventures. When you trust someone, you have total confidence in them, in their integrity, and in their abilities. When you distrust people, however, you find everything they do suspicious. One reason why trust is so beneficial to us is that it facilitates good communication. Relationships are built and sustained by trust, and they can also be broken by lack of trust. With every single violation of trust, we recover slowly because we are worried about everything else out there. Suspicions about other people arise, and we start to use the behavior of the few to judge many others. Like most people, you've probably had experiences that prove the difference between relationships that are built on trust and those that are not. These experiences strongly show that the difference is not small. It is striking. There is tremendous difference between a high and a low trust relationship. In the absence of trust, even the deepest relationships and connections will fall apart. The impact doesn't just stay in our present moment. I want you to remember this is very important. The impact doesn't just stay in our present moments, it also creeps into our future moments, both professionally and personally. So it's essential we get better at fostering trust. By now, hopefully, you are convinced that nothing is as fast as the speed of trust, and that trust can massively improve the quality of all relationships in your life. But if you still feel like you can extend trust to others, this might be because you grew up in a low trust environment or you have been hurt in the past. Now, it is up to you to learn how to extend trust in a smart way. This will allow you to avoid the common pitfalls and learn how to restore trust when damaged. And thank you, Lord, for answering my prayers. Try this. To build your credibility, you need to start with yourself. Write a list of commitments or promises that you have made to yourself and start working on them daily. The next time you make a mistake, be quick to admit that you are wrong and work on fixing the mistake. Try to give some of your money or time to a charity every month so you can stay fulfilled. Remember what the Bible tells us always: trust the Lord. I hope you guys enjoyed this book. And again, let me remind you, you need to listen to this book more than a couple times. You need to apply it in your life. I know it is really hard to trust someone, especially especially when someone treated you wrong, whether in face to face, even online. It is hard to trust. And I'm not telling you to trust 100% just like a stranger or somebody you just met. People, they show by their action. They can tell you if you can trust them or no. One thing I want to add before I end this, that I experienced in my life, and I know it for sure. whenever you promise a kid anything, if you're not gonna do what you said you're gonna do, this kid will never forget that you promised them even the little small thing. Let me tell you something. You could just like throw a word and you thought, I just said it. It's stuck in the kid mind and they're gonna ask you about it every time they see you. If you don't do it, this gonna create a bad environment for this kid. And it's really bad because this kid's gonna say, you know what, if it happened to him with like couple like adult, they promise him they're gonna do this but they never did it. When he or she grows up, they're gonna find it hard to trust people. So please, whether it's a kid or an adult, when you promise something to someone, if you are not able to do it, do not promise. Especially kids. Thank you very much, guys. God bless you. Until we meet again, if the Lord permits, peace for now.